She just got out of hospital from having twins, and she had a bill of $45,000.
And it's cheaper to have just a single child.
Yeah, but I don't think the option's there to leave one in, Baz. I think you've got to get them both out. I can't afford for you to take them both out. You'll have to leave that one in. At what point does that come out, when it's a teenager or something? I'm going to have to save up. And I'll have to pay for its college when it does come out. That accent that Baz has just done is basically payback for the accent that Dick Van Dyke did in Mary Poppins.
And I'm right thinking, though, that Hollywood isn't really the centre of filmmaking anymore, because they've kind of...
I don't know, I think there are still quite a lot of studios in Hollywood.
I think a lot of big films are made, here now as well, aren't they?
What, in my brother's house?
Yes, well, they could.
Baz, we've literally got 2 phones on tripods. That doesn't count as a film industry. Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of the Mildly Controversial podcast. This week, because it's just been Thanksgiving, Baz and I decided we would do a USA special.
Yeah.
It's also special because Baz and I, for once, are in the same room, which has presented all kinds of logistical and sound problems, but we're getting by with it anyway. So what we benefit from being in the same room, that we lose in the fact that it's technically much more complicated to do this. But anyway, so yes, we are doing a USA special in honour of Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all the other American things that have gone on recently. And yes, so Baz has made an effort to look as American as he can.
I did point out, no, I haven't. I look like this all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So when I say Baz has made a real effort to look American, he's done that by wearing the same clothes he always wears. Whereas I have made an effort to look American by simply wearing a plaid shirt. And did you see how I translated that from the UK English of tartan to American of plaid,
or checked, as we like to call it.
Exactly, or checked. Shirt. That's right. So yeah, I've worn a checked shirt, and admittedly, it doesn't make me look very American. I was hoping to look more American, but I didn't quite have time to become morbidly obese, or to buy a semi-automatic assault rifle. So neither of those things have happened. But this is as American as I'm going to look.
I'm assuming that we're not hoping to get any American fans after this, are we?
Well, see, the thing is, 25% of our listeners are from the USA. And I would hope that by now they understand that we take the piss out of each other. Yeah. We take the piss out of ourselves. So if you are listening or watching in the States and you feel like you're not going to be able to take a joke in the fact that me and Baz are basically just going to take the piss out of the USA for the next hour, if you don't feel like that's something you want to listen to, then thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay? Okay, now they've gone, we're going to lay straight into it, all right? Okay, what we've got planned... Well, first thing, Baz, I've prepared a beverage for us. This one is... We're recording this one in the afternoon, which is quite unusual, and Baz has got to drive later, so he can't drink any alcohol. But what we've got is... I've prepared some grape Kool-Aid.
Grape, okay.
I've sourced some Kool-Aid that came in a little sachet. It's just a sachet of powder. And it said it was non-sweetened drink or something like that. Yeah, you were
outraged by this.
Yeah, and then the instructions said, mix it with a cup of sugar. A cup of sugar.
How much exactly is that, Mike?
It said, I Googled it, and it wanted 200 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Which is an obscene amount. So I didn't even put that amount in. So it might not taste as sweet as it's supposed to be, but we've just kind of made it the UK version by not putting as much. I'll be mother. I'll do you first.
So the amount of sugar that I saw go into this is going to be enough to sort of take down a rhino. So I think we're probably going to go into like sugar comas after this.
I think we'll be absolutely buzzing for the duration of the podcast.
Yeah.
And then
it might be 10 minutes.
We'll probably need a nap after that. Okay, so this is grape Kool-Aid, Baz. So
should we do the plinky plink?
Of course. There you go.
Let's come out.
Right, so we're going to try. This is the first thing we're going to try. First American item that we're going to try. Baz? What's your initial thought? No, I'll tell you what. Tell me your initial thoughts, and then I'll go in.
That's thick. It's quite syrupy.
Okay.
And it's very, 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 very sweet.
Okay, let's have a go.
I mean, it's probably down to the fact it's got so much sugar in it, but here you go.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Baz, that it is thick, it is syrupy, it is sweet, and I'm going to add fucking horrendous to the list.
There's. You said earlier that you obviously couldn't add that many pounds before. We may well end up being clinically obese by the end.
Well,
of the
we do
podcast.
have a box here of USA snacks as well. So when I said I made the effort to become morbidly obese, but I ran out of time. I think we may be by the end of the show. So right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to dig into this one. It's called. Weirdly, I'd sourced these from a. These are imported from the States, so these are actual US snacks. And I sourced these from a UK website, which is ironic as well because this is a US snack made in Chicago, but it's got Andy Capp on the front of it.
He's a Yorkshireman, right?
No, he's Scottish.
He's Scottish.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's from the Sunday Post.
Oh yes.
My family are Scottish, so I'm well aware of Andy Capp's. It's only when I say it like that I've realised how much it sounds like handicapped, and I'm not sure that's an accident. Anyway, so we've got Andy Capp's hot fries, corn and potato snacks. So,
before we get into this, how Americans, you guys in America, how you drink that stuff, that Kool-Aid is just beyond me.
I'm hoping not many of them do. But anyway, we're going to go straight. This is we're going on with Andy Capp's hot fries.
I'm glad you went first.
No bad. Now, they taste very artificial, as you would expect. They're all right, actually.
I'm not sure about hot. I mean...
All right, I've only had 3. Give them back. Behave yourself.
They're a bit spicy.
They've got a bit of a kick, haven't they?
So, weirdly,
they're all right, though.
They've got a Scotsman on the front of them.
Yeah, I don't understand the... I don't understand the relevance of a Scottish cartoon character on the front of it, but...
And if you are listening, Google Andy Capp. I think it's with 2 P's, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll find it's a man in a flat cap with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. In general, I like those. Yeah.
They're nice.
Like I say, very artificial, but...
Very artificial tasting, but you would expect that. Right. Right, next up. I'm not sure about these, Baz. I'm honestly not sure. These are Keebler. And I used to work for Kellogg's, and Keebler's part of Kellogg's, so I feel I should...
So is Keebler the make, or this is actually what it is?
Well, Keebler's the manufacturer.
Right, okay.
But it's part of Kellogg's.
What are they?
So we are going to try, Baz, a cheese and peanut butter sandwich cracker.
Okay.
So I'm keen to experience the... I can already smell the peanut butter. The cheese and peanut butter together seems awful to me, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on.
So I've actually made, in real life, cheese, peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. So that's nice. You don't seem so sure.
No, it's very dry, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we could dip it in the Kool-Aid. In fact, I'll have a go.
It's got 5 grams of protein in it, so we'll be hench by the time we finish it.
Can I have another one? I was going to dip it in the Kool-Aid and see if that does anything.
Go on then.
I mean, if we're going to go full on
No, they're very
discussion.
dry. And to be honest, I'm not getting a lot of cheese either. They're very disappointing. We've lost Baz. Well, anyway, you've got to drive back to Bedford today anyway, so you'll have plenty of snacks to go with.
Thanks.
Right, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. This is called a double-decker banana moon pie, which definitely sounds like a euphemism for something.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to chow down that dry cracker. And you've come out with a moon pie.
It's a banana moon pie. It's in a double-decker as well. So, like I say, it does sound like a euphemism for something, but I think I can't.
It looks a bit soft and squidgy, doesn't it?
Luckily, I've.
Oh, look at this pre-planning.
Oh.
Thanks. I thought you were going to give me half of that then.
I'm here with a chopping board and a knife, so
Probably
let's try
a bib for this.
a banana double-decker moon pie.
Was this made by another former Kellogg's company?
No. No, that's kind of... That's like a stale biscuit with hard marshmallow in the middle.
Yeah, I think the initial thing is it tastes or feels weird. It's got a weird texture. So what's in it again? Banana and...
Well,
E numbers probably, isn't it?
you've just asked me what's in it, banana and. I very much doubt there's any banana in this.
Sorry.
I don't even think this has even seen a banana. Flour. Oh, that's interesting. Invert sugar.
Oh yeah, one of my favourite things.
Corn syrup. Sugar. Palm and palm kernel oil.
No, everyone loves
water,
a bit of palm
soybean oil, gelatin, baking soda, cornstarch, corn sugar, salt, soy lecithin, natural and artificial flavours, colour.
So no banana?
No banana.
Okay.
All right, well, anyway. I mean, it's not unpleasant. It's just...
It's odd.
Yeah, it's just, like I say, it tastes a bit like a stale biscuit with, with hard marshmallow in the middle.
Yeah. It feels also like, it's been in the cupboard for a few weeks and you've just literally decided that you can have a go on it.
Not going to lie, I'm really looking forward to this because this is a Reese's Crunchy Snack Cake.
Oh, so I'm a big fan of Reese's stuff.
Yeah, and do you know what? Chocolate from the States is broadly awful. But Reese's Nutrageous bar is one of my favourite bars in the whole world. So, I'm looking forward to... Here you go. I was going to cut that in. I was going to cut that in two, but...
Firstly, it's quite heavy for Reese's.
So yeah, Reese's Crunchy Snack Cake. Oh my God. There's nothing cake about that, and it definitely doesn't live up to what it shows you on the front.
I thought it would be crunchy.
I'm massively disappointed, Baz.
This has got like a layer of sort of squishy, crushed stuff underneath with something that's not very... The texture's all wrong, isn't it? It's neither a cake or a biscuit.
That is a massive letdown.
I'm going to eat it.
Oh, so am I.
I'm not a quitter.
Well, we're American for the day.
Yo.
So we'll overeat on stuff that doesn't taste very nice. Oh, here we go. This might help us forget that one.
I'm starting to enjoy this a little bit too much now.
Yeah. That's probably like, I haven't checked the ingredients, that's probably the MSG kicking in or some other genetically modified thing. Okay.
Oh, is this a cup?
This is a Reese's cup, but I presume it is a Halloween one because it's called a...
Oh, okay.
It's called a Franken cup. I'm hoping this just tastes like a Reese's buttercup because they're nice. That's better. That's more like it.
That's
Reese's,
salty.
Right, Reese's, you've redeemed yourself on that one.
So what was the difference in Halloween?
Just because it was green on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the last one, I mean, we've got some more stuff that they just look like big chewits, so we'll eat them later.
Oh, it's a big shout for the Crankin cup.
Yeah, that's just a Reese's cup, and we know we like them anyway. So the last one we're going to try it's Airheads.
Oh, perfect for the podcast.
Absolutely. And the flavour's described as white mystery. I think I've seen that film. It's definitely not a PG. Okay. So.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, sweet God.
You might need to hold this up to the camera if anybody on YouTube wants to watch this.
I think it even looks like what it sounds like. Okay. I'll give a sniff test.
Oh.
White mystery. I'm going in, Baz. Jesus. Take some chewing.
Well, if you are listening to this is probably the least we've ever spoken in a podcast. But this sound should tell you loads about what this. So it's citrusy in it.
It's quite do you know what? I don't think there's much mystery. Isn't that just lemonade?
It's got the texture of something you'd use on a building site. And you've accidentally got in your mouth. I mean...
Isn't it just fizzy lemonade?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it didn't remain a mystery for long. I think that's just lemonade flavoured chewy thing.
I mean, by the ingredients, it's just sugar.
Well, that's definitely not a mystery, but
No.
right. Okay. Well, let's park those over here.
I would have that again, actually. Tastes like you should have it with Vodka or something.
Shift me moon pie. Right, well, I'm going to start digging into, like I say, it's lunchtime. We usually record these in the evening. It's lunchtime, and Baz has got to drive, but I don't, so I've prepared a little something. We've got, oh, hello.
Oh, no.
It's all right, my brother won't watch this anyway.
You've ever had an unexpected spillage?
Spilled on the floor. Shay, can you go and get us a cloth, please? Right, I don't know how I'm going to edit that in, but yeah, we had a small Pilsner emergency where the beer went everywhere. So that's now cleared up. But as I say, Baz has got to drive, so Baz is just going to try a little bit of this just for tasting purposes, and then I'm going to nail the rest of it. But I need to create some space in my glass first. So Baz, we're going to neck these.
Oh, there aren't many things that I've done with you that I really detest, but this might be the best of it.
Baz, don't get me wrong, I know this is going to be a mistake, but we're doing it anyway, all right?
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up, pal. Oh, it's like medicine. That's awful.
You need to go and watch this on YouTube to see my face.
Oh, right.
I think I've just broken some muscles. That's horrible.
I don't know who makes Kool-Aid, but can you stop? Okay.
Well, we mentioned about artificial taste. At the end of it, is now tastes like burnt plastic or something.
Well, I'm going to use the same glass, so that might. So I'm going to use the bottle. I'm not putting it in there.
Right, here we go.
All right. Cheers. So we've got Brooklyn Pilsner, which is a crisp lager, 4.6%.
Smell it. Goes well with Kool-Aid, I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's decent, that. And I went specifically for Brooklyn Brewery because it was the only lager or only beer I could find that was American, that wasn't Budweiser or Bud Light.
Yeah.
And they're not getting on the podcast because they're both shite.
Yeah.
That Brooklyn Brewery stuff is okay. I do have to let you know that even though it is an American company, I believe, it does say in massive letters on the back, brewed in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's quite disappointing. I went to brewed by Carlsberg as well.
So I've actually had Brooklyn Brewery beer in New York, and you probably have as well at some point. And I remember going there thinking, oh, it's going to taste amazing. It doesn't change when you go the other side of the world, does it?
It's not Guinness,
That's a
mate.
surprise. Yeah, it's not Guinness.
It's not Guinness. I've got another bottle of something down there which is a bit more adventurous, so save yourself for a bit of that, Baz.
Okay.
We've got some mango wheat beer coming up later.
Okay.
Okay, so Baz, what we've got here now is I've got something that I've called felony or fake news.
Good, I like
Because we're
this.
massively aware that there are some stupid laws in the States. So it's quite famed for that.
Yep.
And before you ask, we're not talking about the gun laws. Yes, just as an aside, those of you who watch and listen to the podcast on a regular basis will know that we have a strict no religion and no politics policy on this podcast.
Mainly because we know nothing about the two. We're not
Yeah,
experts.
but when you're doing a USA special, not talking about religion or politics means there's very little you can talk about, which explains why I've brought in some stupid Kool-Aid and some sweets that we've had to go at. But anyway, talking of, this is basically, I've got some statements here. Some are true, some are false. Cool. You've got to decide which is which. And I've called it felony or fake news. And admittedly, some of these aren't felonies by the definition of felonies.
Yep.
But it's alliteration and we like that. Okay, so first one, Baz.
Yeah.
Which one of these is illegal in the States? Kinder Surprise or haggis?
Oh, I think we've had this, maybe chatted about this before. It's Kinder Surprise, isn't it? Because haven't you done a video on this? Yes.
Yes, I have.
See, your content is both informative and funny.
There you go, you see. That, to kick you off, was actually a trick question.
Oh.
They're both illegal in the States. So, Kinder Surprise, the cute little chocolate for children with a toy inside. Yeah, illegal in the States.
That's because of the swallowing. Oh,
That's because there is an inclusion inside a food.
Yeah.
Okay. And haggis is illegal in the States because apparently selling stuff with sheep's lung in it is banned in the States. Which, to be fair, doesn't sound like a bad rule. In Quitman, Georgia, chickens are not permitted to cross the road.
Right, have I got to guess whether this is...
Is that a true law or is that a false law?
I mean, it sounds
Or is it
ridiculous.
felony or fake news?
Right, so I think it sounds so ridiculous. This is obviously how my logic works, and I got it wrong on many other times. I'm going to go that that's an actual law because it sounds absolutely ridiculous.
You're quite right. In Quitman, Georgia, it is illegal, or it's not permitted, for chickens to cross the road.
Right.
I don't know what the first joke you taught in Quitman, Georgia is. By default, I don't know. But no. Also in Georgia, in Gainesville, Georgia, it is illegal to eat fried chicken with anything other than your hands.
Okay. This leads on to the fact that people have tried it with other parts of their body.
I'm presuming like knife and fork or something.
Yeah.
So in Gainesville, Georgia, it's illegal to eat fried chicken with anything other than your hands.
Right, okay. I'm going to go that's not true.
That is true.
Oh, God.
So if you do go to Gainesville in Georgia, Baz, don't start eating your fried chicken with a knife and fork or you could be in trouble.
Well, okay, so you can literally be arrested.
You have literally got to pick it up and eat it with your hands.
Stupid.
Well, that's the idea of these, isn't it? Okay. It's still legal in 29 states to fire someone for being gay.
Why did you have to put this one in here? I'm 29 states.
In 29 states of the USA,
over
it is
half.
still legal to fire someone for being gay.
Look, I'm just going to say no because I don't think it should be. It's not obviously a logical way, but it could be. I'm going to go, that's not true.
It definitely shouldn't be, but it is. So in 29 states, it is still legal to fire someone for being gay.
Oh, dear America.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. Yes. So, next one. You can legally drink and drive in Mississippi.
These are great. I think you can't. I'm going against my better judgment here.
Okay, well, whether it's better or worse judgment, you can legally drink and drive in Mississippi. Okay? Which is an odd one. Okay, next one. In Wyoming, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Hawaii, having sex with an animal is 100% legal.
Oh, God. So I'm beginning to think now that they're all real. So I'm going to go for... That can't be real. That can't be real. I'm going to go for fake.
Okay, that is true.
Oh, fuck's sake.
In Wyoming, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Hawaii, having sex with an animal is 100% legal. Now, I need to tell you a little story about this one.
You do?
The fact I read was, in some states, it is still legal. Or it is legal to have sex with an animal, okay? I then Googled, in which states is it legal to have sex with an animal?
Okay.
Then I got a bit worried that my Google search of in which states is it legal to have sex with an animal would have, like, I think I may be on, like, an FBI watch list now.
Should be, yes.
So, but just in case they are watching and listening, I didn't like Google flights to those states straight after I found out which four it's legal in. Okay, so just to be clear, this was for research purposes for the podcast.
Yeah, of course it was.
Okay, right. Oh, this is quite close to your heart, Baz. In Rhode Island, it's illegal to wear dungarees on a roller coaster.
I'm going to say that's true.
No, that's fake news. I made it all up, Baz. When you go to Rhode Island, Baz, you wear them.
Oh, mate.
Crack on, mate. You get on the roller coaster in those bad boys. That's all good.
Yeehaw. My enthusiasm is just rolling.
Okay. It is illegal to send a surprise pizza delivery to someone's house in Louisiana.
Sounds absolutely ridiculous. So it's illegal to do that.
It's illegal to send a surprise pizza delivery to someone's house in Louisiana.
That can't be a law.
I'm afraid it is, Baz. You got that one wrong as well. I'm not keeping a score on this one, but you're doing very, very bad.
Yeah.
Very bad, very bad. Okay, what have we got left? We've got, in Jefferson County, Colorado,
Yep.
it is legal for a dog to stand for election to local government.
Yeah, we don't talk politics, but I think that's probably a really good choice for one of your politicians. So we'll go for that's true.
I've done you again, Baz. That's not, I made it up. Okay. In Baltimore, it's not permitted to take a lion to the movies.
So it's not permitted to take a
It's
lion.
it's literally written that it is not permitted to. It's not just you'll get into trouble if you take a lion to the movies.
Right, okay.
In Baltimore, it's a written law that it is not permitted to take a lion to the movies.
I think no one's going to write that. So I think that's fake.
That is in fact true, Baz. So if you do holiday in Baltimore, please remember, do not take a lion to the movies or you may get arrested. My first thoughts on that, Baz, is that someone must have done it.
No, that's my point.
Someone must have taken a lion to the movies for them to go, shit, we need to write a law here.
Or-
Otherwise, everyone's going to bring the lion to the movies.
Or they just went through every animal.
It's only legal in 4 states to go through every animal.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go.
All the other states, you can't go through the animals. Right? That's very. I was very clear about that earlier.
You were.
Okay, in Washington State, it's prohibited to harass Bigfoot.
Well, I'm hoping to get this wrong because to keep up my 100% record, I'm just going to go fake.
It's in fact true, Baz, that in Washington State, it is written that it is prohibited to harass Bigfoot. So, look, there are a number of things that people around the world look at America and go, that country's got issues.
Yeah.
Despite all that, they've had the time to write a law in Washington State that says it's permitted to harass a fictional beast.
Once again, someone must have gone, like this indefinitely exists, so we don't want anyone harassing it.
You just think that there's some kind of local governor or something whose mate has gone, bored this weekend. I'm going to go out and harass Bigfoot. And then he's gone, whoa, we need to stop people doing that. That's a bad thing.
So I can't imagine these are actually have plummeted the depth of right down to the bottom of what ridiculous laws there are. These are just ones that you found, are they?
There may be other ones.
In fairness, the ones you wrote are equally as ridiculous.
Here we go. In many states, it's legal to carry hand grenades as long as they're in full view and not concealed.
True.
That's false, Baz, although I can understand why you think it is. Because apparently it's okay in a lot of states of the USA to carry a semi-automatic weapon,
yes,
but not hand grenades, I'm afraid,
yeah,
Baz. Do apologise. So
there is a difference.
Before you go on holiday to the States, please remember these. I think you got one right and the rest wrong. So, yeah, it's very... If we're rounding up on the ones you got on ones you got wrong, you got them all wrong. Speaking of rounding up, that wasn't that segue was not intentional, but it's tremendous because this isn't a law or anything like that. But in Indiana, the value of pi is 4, not 3.1415. So if you are in Indiana. You've been overestimating the area of a circle.
Yeah.
Forever.
So
How do you? I mean, in Indiana, the value of pi is 4, not 3.1. So if you're gonna if you go, it's too complicated, that number, which I think never ends. It's it keeps going. If you're gonna round it to 3. How do you go from 3.1 to 4? They're over-egging the circumference.
You sure there's not an E missing off that word pi?
Yeah. So if you are in Indiana and anyone's boasting about the size of anything that's like circular, tell them they're talking bollocks because they've just over-egged it by quite a bit actually.
Yeah,
from 3.1 to 4.
I'm not even sure it works at 4.
It definitely doesn't. They've all gone mad. Right. Okay, Baz. Let's move on to things about the USA that don't make sense.
First one is all the laws. I'm just going to say that. None of that makes any sense to me.
Literally all of the laws. And as we say, we're not going to talk politics, so we're not going to go on to the gun laws. But just so you know, your gun laws are fucking ridiculous, by the way.
That is the opinion of the podcast as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the official. Yeah. Allowing members of the public to own a vast array of weapons is not a good thing.
I think we may have just found a way of getting more emails in.
No, I think those people. I think the people who would object to us saying that as outsiders. I think, and a country where pretty much guns are legal, but very, very, very closely restricted.
Yeah.
I think they would understand. because the nut jobs who would be losing the shit at us saying that the gun laws are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they probably switched off when we told them to.
Good idea.
They're not listening anymore.
Thanks.
Okay, so Baz, what have you got for your first thing about the USA that just doesn't make sense?
So, start with something fairly frivolous. The World Series of any sporting event. You probably had this one as well.
Yeah. No.
So, obviously it's baseball. The World Series.
Or rounders for grown-ups, as I like to call it.
The point is, the World Series isn't really the World Series, is it? There's no teams from anywhere out of North America. I'm thinking right.
Yeah, I don't know if
Japan. I think maybe
Japan play it, and I think Cuba play it as well.
Yeah.
I think Japan and Cuba are quite big into baseball, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
But it's also that's not the world.
It's definitely not the world. And it's also the. I did read somewhere that the world was a previous sponsor.
Okay.
And that's why they kept the name. But I think that's been debunked.
Right, yeah.
I think it does mean the world's... Because they do refer to the Super Bowl champion as the world champion as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully you're not one of those that's going to kick off at us taking a piss out of the States, but the USA is not the world. If this is new news to you, then I'm sorry to break it to you. But yeah, I agree. I mean, but there is a lot of that with American sports fans in particular. They just think like the whole world revolves around the States. Which...
Let's be clear, in baseball, which is shit sport anyway, they probably are the best teams in the world. And, you know, if there was a qualification, most teams would make it to the final. I get that. But like it's much like the World Cup of soccer. Teams that aren't any good still get to go and try their hand, don't they?
There you go.
Yeah.
And talking about the World Cup and soccer.
Yep.
It's not called soccer, by the way. All right, you can call it soccer, but it's not. It's called football. The thing you called football, where you don't actually very often touch the ball with your foot, isn't football.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to call that football.
Gridiron football, as you put it.
Yeah, no, I think it's American football, but they just call that football,
right?
Which doesn't make any sense because there's only one player who usually kicks the ball.
Yep.
But also, I think I read something somewhere that said it would be more accurately called carry egg.
Yes.
Yes. So I think we'll call it carry egg.
I suppose the detractors will come out and say that rugby is called rugby union football, isn't it?
Yes.
But no one calls it football. It's called rugby.
But even if it is, it's called rugby football.
Yeah.
It's not just called football.
Yeah.
And yes, before anybody says, I know that the word soccer comes from England because ages ago they called rugby and football soccer to distinguish the two between rugby football and soccer. It was abbreviated from association football, and then turned into soccer. So that's where the derivation of the word soccer. So I'm aware of that. So don't go kicking off in the comment section, right? I know that, but nobody here calls it soccer, and they haven't done for decades.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, we're right. You're wrong.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, mine, Baz, is my thing about USA that doesn't make sense is tipping.
Yep.
Right?
And we're talking about tipping as in money, not fly tipping.
Yes.
Let's be clear on that one.
For the Americans listening, fly tipping is when you just can't be asked getting rid of your mattress properly, so you just lob it somewhere and run away.
Yeah.
That is illegal. Yes, so tipping... Look, Americans think we don't tip, or we're quite tight and we're quite stingy when it comes to tipping. And that's because our restaurants pay their staff properly. And in the States, this is all wrapped up in the whole thing. In the States, there's no minimum. There's no minimum wage in the States. There's no minimum wage in the States, and there's also no minimum amount of holidays. So strictly speaking, somebody can set up a business and say, right, this job here is $2 an hour, and you get no holidays at all in the year, and that's fine. That's legal.
Yeah.
Which in the UK just baffles us. But from a tipping point of view, I did a bit of research on this, and I had a look at some jobs in the States as servers or waiters, waitresses, whatever. And there are some, like IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, $2 an hour. So their staff rely on tips, right? And coming from the country we come to, it's like they get a minimum wage. So wait staff here would get paid £12 an hour, which is, I don't know, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And then you tip somebody if you get exceptional service, which is great. And if you think that somebody has gone above and beyond, I would. If I have okay service, I would tend to tip 10% anyway.
Yeah.
If I have exceptional service, I would tip more than that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about a time when I was in Vegas, and I was out for breakfast in Vegas, and literally the rudest waitress I have ever experienced.
Yeah, not one of these themed ones, an actual waitress.
I don't know if she was having a bad day, if she'd had some bad news or whatever. So I don't know, but she was horrendous. She was nudging people and getting them to pass plates across the table instead of her walking around the table. She kicked off at Emma for having a bag next to her chair because this woman couldn't trip up on it, and unbelievably rude, right? And there was maybe 8 to 10 of us at this breakfast, and we unanimously decided she wasn't getting a tip. That's how bad it was, right? So out of the 10 of us, nobody said, we should probably tip her. We also had no chance, right? So the bill came, we divvied it up, we paid exactly what it said on the bill, okay? And we stood up to walk out. The woman came over, looked at it and went, "What, no tip?" And I was like, "No." So I said, "No, you were extremely rude and you don't deserve a tip." And she went, "Well, that's how I make my money. That's like, without that, I don't have a wage." I was like, "Sounds to me, love, like you're in the wrong job."
Yes.
All right? Go and get a job where you don't have to deal with the general public because you're fucking terrible at it. All right? I think they were my exact words, by the way. And we just walked out. And this woman was furious.
Yeah.
She was like, it was like she was really going to come chase after us and tear us to bits. I was like, well, if you want a tip, then look, if you're moaning that you're not getting paid enough because you're not getting tips, either be better at your job so people do tip you,
Yeah.
or go and have a word with your boss and say, even though I'm shit at my job, you should be paying me a proper... Because that's it. Even crap waitresses get £15 an hour or whatever in the UK.
Yeah.
So, sorry, $15 an hour in the UK. So, yeah, tipping just doesn't make sense.
It is weird. I admit that. But two things that stand out for me is I've also been to Vegas, and the first morning we went and had breakfast at a place just across the way from Caesars. The guy there in the morning was the complete opposite of the story you just told. He could not... And I know he's taken his job to the extreme. Funny, had all the quips. I mean, he's probably said them 1,000 times to other people, but he was entertaining, brought us our stuff, asked, came along countless times to ask if we needed anything else, probably to the point you kind of go, all right, we'll just have another mouthful, which is fine. He got a tip, because it was our first morning there. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, I've been in bars in New York where every single drink requires $1 tip.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, well, hang on.
You've literally moved it from there to
Yeah,
here.
especially if you're sat at the bar.
You've poured... Yeah, exactly. I've been sat at a bar in the States.
Yeah.
As far away as I am to you, a guy has literally poured me a drink there and expected me to tip him.
Yeah.
I was like, you've passed that. You've not even moved your feet, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You've poured a drink and you've moved it 3 feet.
Yeah.
How does that deserve a tip?
$1 for each. Well, it might be $2 now, I'm not sure.
But this is another thing that I don't understand with tipping. It was like, I know that, hotel bellboys and valets who get your car and all that kind of stuff. In Vegas, again, I know somebody who lives in Vegas. So I said to her, I get really kind of awkward because I don't know how much to tip and what.
Yeah.
So if a bellboy's going to bring my luggage to the room, how much do I tip? Or if a valet opens the door when I get out, how much do I tip? And she said, $1.
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
And they're kicking off that people aren't tipping them. $1.
Yeah.
And it's just... But the other thing I don't understand about tipping, and that in this country, okay? So we do tip in this country, but we tend to tip waiting staff.
Yep.
Taxi drivers.
Always.
Yeah. Hairdressers.
Yep.
I don't know why. And I can't think of anyone else.
Oh, yeah, they're the mainstays of the ones that you're kind of expected to do. But I tip my tattooist.
Yeah, I can
I'd
imagine
like to
that.
think when I come back next time, I go, oh yeah, there's the guy. I won't fuck up his tattoo.
Yeah, you won't misspell something on your back just to piss you off.
Well, they don't ask for it, but it's
no, I get that. I get that. But yeah, and none of the other ones. And the same in the States, though. If you go to a shop, I went to a shop, I don't know why I remember. By the way, my experience of waiting staff in the States is predominantly exactly what you said.
Yeah.
They're all brilliant. They're all really friendly. They're great at the job. It's a vocation. They may be actors or something, but they absolutely, whether they love it or not, they seem like they love it, and it's brilliant. Okay. So I only talked about that lady.
I only talked about the highlights, the one that you didn't.
Yeah. I only talked about that lady in Vegas because she was so pissed off that we hadn't tipped her, and I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not. You're getting nothing. But yeah, I remember being in a Pandora store in Santa Monica, and the girl in there, absolutely phenomenal. Just couldn't help me more, and she was brilliant, really friendly. Very patient. It took us a long time to decide what we wanted, and she was absolutely. We were in there for about an hour, and she couldn't do any more for her. I didn't tip her though.
Yeah.
And so I just don't get it. I don't get it. There are obviously businesses that pay people a wage that means you don't need to get tipped, but I don't understand why restaurants don't.
Well, I think you know this, but I don't know how many other people do. In Japan, it's not actually allowed. It's frowned upon. So I've been in a restaurant there, and there's been an American guy and his Japanese friend. They've got to leave. The guy's put a tip down because he's American. He just obviously doesn't know. They've chased him to the road to give him his money back.
Wow.
They've literally, so they said, "Oh no, you don't do it." So it's kind of the complete opposite. And all the service there is fantastic.
Yes.
So once again, if they don't require it, why does anybody else?
I don't understand. So yeah, tipping in general, mainly in the States, don't get it. I do understand tipping. I do understand tipping for good service. Like I said, in the UK, I don't understand why there's a handful of occupations that were expected to tip and not others. But
just be clear as well, though. The person who's serving you doesn't get that tip. It doesn't all go into one big pot now.
It varies. It varies, which is another reason where it's like, I'm not sure about that. Well, do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a black.
I've had those times when you have someone really good. You go, look, just take it, put it in your pocket.
Don't
mind whispering.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us your email. I'll PayPal you some money. Right then. Tipping definitely gets a tick in the box there.
Right. I'd like to talk about sales tax.
It's on my list as well, Baz. Let's go.
Yeah. Because it's like so. There's nowhere else in the world, I believe, that does this. So the price that you see on a label isn't the price you pay. Is it? I'm correct in this, aren't I?
That's absolutely correct.
And then when you get to the till, they tell you, sir. I won't do an American.
Oh, please do, Baz. Please carry on.
That's going to cost you. That's shit.
I'm so glad you did that.
That's going to cost you $25, and that's going to be another $55 for sales tax.
This is amazing. This is like
that's Kool-Aid. It's done it to me.
Do you know what? Do you know what? If you are watching, that accent that Baz has just done is basically payback for the accent that Dick Van Dyke did in Mary Poppins.
Yeah, fuck you, Dick.
So yeah, the abuse that Dick Van Dyke did to the British by attempting a Cockney accent. This is retribution. Baz's attempt at a US accent.
We could do the rest of the podcast completely in American accents if you want.
I don't think I'd be able to speak, mate. We need to crack on with sales tax.
Yeah, sales tax. So the price you see isn't, and I believe as well that it varies from state to state.
It does.
State to state.
And that's the thing, it does. It varies by state to state. And I think maybe even county to county. I'm not sure about that. But definitely state to state. So you get some states that might have like 2% sales tax, and you might have some states that have got 15%.
Yeah.
So unless you know what it is, and then you've got to do mental arithmetic. So it's a bit like the whole thing of like pay your staff properly.
Yeah.
And tell me how much you want me to pay for something.
But I'm right in thinking no one's actually allowed not to pay that tax.
Oh no!
So everybody pays a tax.
Yeah.
But it always feels like you're British.
Yeah.
Big sales tax for you, buddy. 50%. Okay,
Mate,
thanks.
Your American accent is the highlight of this entire podcast. I've never had so much fun. It just seems a bit weird, isn't it? It's like, I find it, you go to like a trade warehouse or something like that here, and they don't put the VAT on.
Yeah.
I find that galling enough. Yeah. So I've got to do like whatever it is at the minute, like 15, 20, 75, 17.5%.
Yeah, it's like going to screw fix and working out the difference.
But if you didn't know even what the sales tax is, how do you know you've got enough money to pay for it?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. No, absolutely, sales tax. Don't be stupid, right? I don't care what city or what state or whatever you're in. Just write on a product how much you want me to pay for it when I get to the till.
Well, it's confused as well because you go up there and it obviously says the thing, and in some shops I've seen it with the other price below. So, but with it added, rather than just saying add this.
It's just taxes. Tax, just,
Just that.
do you know
Add
what I
in
mean?
there.
Just stick it on.
Yeah.
I'm all right with paying taxes. Just tell me how much you want me to pay for the thing. Oh, here's one that doesn't make sense that I experienced a good few years ago. Hollywood's a shithole.
I've never been.
It's literally a shithole. It's awful. And I'm not even just saying like it's tacky or what. Like, could you expect that with Hollywood?
It's a shithole.
I expected Hollywood to be like glitz and glamour and all this kind of stuff. We went to Hollywood. It's awful.
Is that everywhere? Because
Hollywood is just really awful. Like really run down. Homeless people everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's.
They're called actors, Mike.
Yes, but then there's just homeless people everywhere. And I'm not saying like, oh, homeless people making the place look bad. I'm just saying it's that. It's that deprived, that much of a deprived area that there are, that, there's dollars. You go to, Grauman's Chinese Theatre, with all the handprints in the concrete and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Glitz, glamour, it's like, oh, you got the Golden Mile or whatever, all the way up here, look at all these famous people who've been here. You literally look across the road and they're selling jeans for $2.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, there's, there are people begging and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like it's awful, awful place. I didn't like it at all.
I'm assuming it's tired because I guess in the 50s when it was the height of its kind of television period where like all the premieres would take place in Hollywood, wouldn't they? Because they still call them like the Hollywood premiere, don't they?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it's the. And that's the thing, like I say, if you stood facing Grauman's Chinese Theatre, it's all glitz, glamour, Hollywood actors. Da, 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 da. If you turn 180 degrees and look across the road, there's a man begging because he hasn't eaten in 2 days.
Yeah, let's face it.
I mean, that's the kind of it illustrates the kind of the gaping chasm. That street is like two lanes wide.
Yeah.
But it's like in terms of socially, it's a gaping chasm. And it's just, it's awful. It's an awful place.
And I'm right thinking though that Hollywood isn't really the centre of filmmaking anymore because they've kind of.
I don't know. I think there are still quite a lot of studios in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think a lot of big films are made here now as well, aren't they? Because it's
what my brother's house.
Yeah, well they could.
I know we've got a couple.
It's literally like I said.
Baz, we've literally got 2 phones on tripods. That doesn't count as a film industry.
Well, you say that. It's literally how I make everything. Yeah, no. So I've never been. I had heard it wasn't the glitziest place, but yeah, you've just painted it as being that thing where if you look in one direction and that's where all the cameras point, doesn't matter what's behind it, does it? So it's very much like a movie.
No one can see what's behind these cameras.
Well, it's very much like a movie set.
My son, for one.
Yeah. So it is very much like a movie set, isn't it? It's literally in one direction you can see it, and everything else is just shit.
And it's just horrible. I didn't like it there at all. Another one I've got, which I just don't think makes sense, is this whole obsession with the American flag.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Primary school kids standing up and swearing allegiance to a flag.
Is that an actual thing?
At the start of the day. I saw a TikTok of a US teacher who said, who just put a video of that happening, and everyone just went, "Whoa, that looks a bit North Korea." Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and she was like, she did a follow-up video, and she was like, "Do you not do that in every country? Does every country not stand up and hand on heart, sing the national anthem, and swear allegiance to the flag every day before you start?" It does seem a bit North Korea, that to me, doesn't it?
Well, so. To coin a phrase, I'm not going to use it. I didn't know this. This is the first time I've heard it. So I was today years old. Is that right? That's mad.
They sing the national anthem, swear allegiance to the flag.
Oh God, no wonder you're all fucking mad.
Careful, Baz. Just remember how many of your 600,000 followers on TikTok are from the States. It's about 598,000, so behave yourself a bit.
I live in Bury, a town just north of Manchester, if you want to go.
It's all right, neither of us live here, so we'll be all right. If you come here looking for us, neither of us will be here.
That's mad. Honestly, that sound... I mean, so, yeah, not getting into anything else, that sounds as bad as the alternative they're always banging on about, isn't it?
Do you know what? I'm going to go there, Baz. I'm going to go there with something that, again, we don't talk religion or politics on this podcast, but I'm going to say something now, which in the States is political.
Yeah.
But for me, isn't. It's just fucking common sense.
Yeah.
Right? In the States, in schools, in primary schools, so young kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, they do active shooter drills in the same way that we all grew up at school doing fire drills.
Oh my God.
So we would do a drill. So if there's a fire, walk calmly out into the schoolyard or into a specific meeting point. We'll take the register, check everyone's there, and check everything's okay. And then the fire brigade will deal with the fire. And that's what we did. And we might have done it once every couple of months, maybe like once a term, something like that.
Yeah.
In the States, they have active shooter drills in primary schools, and I just find it heartbreaking. And then, do you know what? If you think that's political, I apologise. Whiz on, and we'll see you next week. But do you know what? It breaks my heart that it's just like, that is normal, that you just go, right, we all have to pretend now. 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, it's like, let's all pretend that someone's going to come in and try and shoot everybody.
Yeah.
And this is what we do when that happens. When that happens.
As much with my fantastic American accent, you might think I'm American. I'm not. So
if you're watching on YouTube and your sound's broken, you might think he's American.
Yeah, there's not 3 of us here, man.
I don't know where that guy's from.
Anyway, it seems weirder to us, without getting too dark and moody about it. It seems weirder to us because, and we've let's face it, we've had a school shooting here. It has happened, but
did you say a school shooting?
Well, I'm sticking with the most famous one.
Well, yeah. Do you know what? You're quite right. Yeah. Because there's been a couple or a handful.
Yeah.
Not multiple.
Per year. Well, they count it in a number of days since the last school shooting, don't they? Hey, listen. I know we're being quite general here, but this is the thing. If schools are doing drills to make it safer for them, should someone decide to come to their school sporting an automatic or semi-automatic rifle, then it's a bit knackered, isn't it? You know, and I don't think we're being unnecessarily cruel about it. I'm sure if you live in the States, you probably think the same thing. Although
there must be a huge number of people in the States that wish they might think it is necessary.
Yeah.
But there must be a huge number of people that wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it's just so. Yeah. Look, we didn't want to get bogged down in the whole gun laws thing.
But it's a bit obvious, honestly.
But it would be remiss of us not to mention it because the whole world is looking at the States and thinking, "What the fuck is going on over there?" So, we thought we would. I thought I had to mention that at some point.
No, in fairness, this is the biggest difference between what we're used to and living in the States. Is the other stuff we've spoken about is just some of it's mad, some of it's just weird, but that is just it's the one that I don't think we'd ever get used to if it suddenly happened here. No. So do better.
Yeah, stop it,
y'all.
Stop that.
Yes, I do apologise. I'd like to talk about health insurance.
Okay.
Just because...
Cool.
Well, so obviously we have health insurance in this country, but we also have a health service which is there free at the point of use.
That's right.
Now, you know more about this because I've never had any dealings with anything in America. But I believe even if you turn up to anywhere, like a hospital, you have to pay for stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you slice one of your fingers off and you turn up, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, well, they'll treat you before, they won't say, I'm not treating you until you've paid.
Okay, yeah.
But they'll treat you and then send you a bill.
Right, okay. And if you can't pay, then you go to prison.
Then you're in trouble.
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming...
If you can't pay, they take another finger.
Yes, there you go. Literally an arm and then a leg.
They keep taking one until you pay.
And once again, this is just because it's different to what we're used to. You turn up here, and if you haven't got a penny in your pocket, you'll still get life-saving treatment if necessary.
And that's the thing is that this section is called "Things that about the USA that don't make sense."
Yeah.
Maybe it should be called "Things about the USA that don't make sense to us."
Yes.
Okay, so we're just being honest. This is just like I remember seeing a TikTok where there was a girl on there who said she just got out of hospital from having twins, and she had a bill of $45,000.
Is it more expensive to have twins?
And it was and it was like kind of, and her thing was like, stitch this and tell me how much you paid, and it was just full of full of British and Canadian and Australian and New Zealanders stitching it, going nothing. I had to pay to park my car. Yeah. And even then, I'm pissed off with
exactly.
that.
That was the whole point.
Fucking fuming I've had to pay for
parking.
Oh,
the amount of social media, I had to pay £12 to park my car.
I'm fuming about having to pay parking, by the way.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, because I don't really know a lot about it, and we've discussed it on numerous occasions about how fucked up it is. But so 45 grand.
Yeah, it was 45 grand, this girl's bill for
And it's cheaper to have just a single child.
Yeah, but I don't think the option's there to leave one in, Baz. I think you've got to get them both out.
But I was going to say, it's like, well, I didn't want the other one, so I've got 30.
No, I can't afford to.
I've got 30 grand. You can sell the other one. It's fine.
I can't afford for you to take them both out. You know what? I'm going to end the podcast there because I don't think, right? I don't think there's anywhere we could go from there, right? So, if you remember nothing else from this week's podcast, remember that Brooklyn Brewery. I've only had half a bottle of it. It's fucking good, isn't it? It's This is good stuff. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to record this bit again, but no. It's illustrated the point that the Brooklyn Brewery, Brooklyn Pilsner, that's why it was hard to say, is top notch. The mango wheat beer by Blue Moon is awful.
Yeah.
But I would have 100 of those before I drink